This video featuring my next guest was made some 30 years ago this month, but this young man only recently discovered it. And what my guest said then is just as true as now. Watch this.
We have adopted some wrong standards. We are judging our men many times by the wrong value system. We are using his children sometimes against him. We have been told that the only benefit that a black man provides in a home is money, and if he does not give us money to take care of those kinds of financial provisions, that he has no value. And what my research has proven to me is that a black man, any man in any home, provides much more than financial support. The man provides guidance, instruction, discipline for the children, which we sorely need in our black homes. He provides gratification, fulfillment, protection. I mean, there's so many other values, and these values are the ones that are missing in our children today, which is why many black children are in the street, out of control themselves, disrespectful, don't have any regard for anyone. And most of us are scared of them, and everybody else is, because nobody has a way into them to try to gain any control over them. So I maintain that a return to traditional family values, certain clearly defined gender responsibilities for black men and black women in running a home and a relationship will help us to produce a better child. And if we produce a better child, certainly we'll have a better future and a better nation. Unfortunately, as I say, since money has been used as the measure, many times if a black man does not have money to give us, we won't even let him see his children. We won't let him spend any time with it because he does not give us whatever the child support is. And I'm not saying that we don't need money to raise a child, but I try to explain to black women that raising a child consists of much more than feeding, clothing, and sheltering it. That's maintaining one. To raise one, you need a return of the parental coalition of the father and the mother to put the proper values into the child. Many of our boys, when we raise them alone, they grow up with the female emotional mechanism. They are suspicious, they are doubtful, they're disrespectful of womanhood, they are bitchy, they can't make a decision. And many of our girls who grow up in a home where there's no man present, they go out into the world and try to mate. They don't have any idea how to live with a man day to day, how to prepare a proper meal, how to be a mother, how to just be in love in the home. Most of what our people and our children especially have learned about how you have a relationship, they learned off of television. And television doesn't represent our needs. And so a lot of the confusion has come, from outside agencies that we have not recognized just how detrimental it has been to us as a people.
Mic drop. And rapper Tupac Shakur said this.
I know for a fact that had I had a father, had I had someone, and I hate saying this because white people love hearing black people talk about this, but had I had a father, had I had some of these opportunities, I'd have been able to help my mother more. She wouldn't have went the road she went. I could have been a better son. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't have went that road. It was the absence of my father. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with him being daddy not being there. My mother's dealing with him being my man not being there. So many problems in our community that affect everything.
Here's Denzel Washington.
Well, it starts in the home. If the father's not in the home, the boy will find the father in the streets. Yeah, I saw it in my generation and every generation before me and everyone since. It starts in the home. If the streets raise you, then the judge becomes your mother and prison becomes your home.
My guest is an author and lecturer who's written several books, including The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. She is mother of 12 children, 9 adopted. Please welcome Sherazad Ali. By the way, Sherazad, we share the same birthday, April 27. I said the same birthday, not birth date, because I'm older.
Okay.
Sherazad, are they finally listening?
It's amazing. When I look at that and listen to it myself, that was 30 years ago, Larry. And just think about how that has accelerated up until 2023.
Right.
Because that's what I saw then. That's what I had talked about then. And I was trying to reach the parents. And now I have inherited their children. Their children are reading my books, talking about they used to see me on television when they were little.
And you saw the expression of that young man. He was hearing this for the very first time.
Well, it certainly gives a lot of men peace, and they start to at least accept that they are not crazy and that they knew something was wrong. Nobody had ever pointed it out, because we
Right.
as black women have had a very difficult time in accepting our part of the responsibility for the failure of our home and the children.
So what do you say, Sherazad, when people said, well, part of what you said is sexist? You just now said that a woman does not know how to make a proper meal. Why is it her job to make a proper meal? Why can't the man make a proper meal?
Well, traditionally, historically, all over the world, women have been in charge of nutrition. This is how it has been. That's in every country. Women are in charge of nutrition. Men go out and try to get food or work in the garden, whatever it is, but we fix the food. And that's a very powerful position because by cooking the proper food, we can determine how long our man lives, how big he is, whether he's overweight or the good weight. We can
Right.
help to control our children by learning not to give them so much sugar. There's so many powers that we have just in preparing a meal.
In 1965, Sherazad, 25% of black men entered the world without a father in the home married to the mother. As you well know, now it is over 70%. I have argued, you tell me what you think, that the welfare state has incentivized women to marry the government and has incentivized men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility.
That's exactly what happened. It was really kind of like a trick because for so many years, for at least 30 years, the welfare made black men think that as long as they stayed out of the home, they didn't have any responsibility and that they would take care of their woman and children. And then, lo and behold, about 30, 20 years ago, they decided, oh no, you owe us for that child support, and we're going to collect it, or we're going to put you in jail. We're going to take your tax money. We're going to garnish you all of your wages. We're going to do everything we can to get you involved. Now, that hostility that was created between the mothers and the fathers just because of child support. And that was because the men had been allowed to slide for all those years and not take care of their responsibility. And we have to remember what goes on between a man and a woman behind closed doors. That's the most private thing in America. And so we don't know what that relationship was. Most of us only know about our father, whatever our mother told us, because she and him didn't get along. And so she gave us our first impression if he was not there. And so it's been very difficult for our men, especially our young men, to come to terms with the condition of their fathers. Think about how difficult it is now for men to have work and have enough money to live and pay child support for maybe 2, 3, or 4 different children, sometimes by 2, 3, or 4 different women. And so we didn't get that lesson, and our men now are hostile about it. And us women, we live in a society where most of the benefits have gone to us. And it has supported us, Larry, made us think that we are better than our man because we achieved this on our own. And as you said, we're not. We just been married to the government. That's our man, and he's been taking care of us and keeping us away from the real man whose responsibility it is.
What's that? The great Eldersky, the sage from South Central, has in his baby brown libertarian fingers a pair of my slippers. As you can see, beautiful tan. They come in different colors. And there's also a different style if you don't like this style, although I can't imagine why. Here is the brand new, hot off the presses, My Pillow 2.0. An even more comfortable sleep than My Pillow 1.0. Call the number on your screen or go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER. And this is the My Pillow towels that work. This is a 6-pack. Have you ever noticed? Towels look good, smell good, even feel good, but they don't absorb the water, which is the whole point. These absorb the water. They come in different colors. All you have to do is call the number on your screen or go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER. And this is the Giza Dream bedsheet. Giza is in Egypt. Why Egypt? It's where the best cotton can be found. Mine, as you can see, is white because I am the black face of white supremacy, but you're not. You may want a different color. They also come in different sizes because beds come in different sizes. So just go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER, or call the number on your screen, mypillow.com, promo code ELDER. And Sherazad, it's not like this is a secret. Barack Obama, when he was president, said a kid raised without a father was 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in jail. He doesn't talk very much about it, but he did say that. And I don't know if you read his first book, Dreams of My Father, but it was all about the angst that he felt from not having a relationship with his biological father, whom he last saw when he was 10 years old. So it's not like this is some sort of secret. The question is, what are we going to do about it?
Well, right now, what I have been asking for the past couple of years is for black men and their fathers to have a moratorium for a moment, to step back for a minute, get to know each other as two adult men now, and try to resolve some of those issues that we carry around. As black women, we drag around all of the ill-fated relationships we've had, not having a father, mother not taking care of things, not having a good man or a boyfriend, responsibilities and things. And so we need now to try to get them to sit down together and just talk as men, instead of having such heavy resentment that a lot of times, as I said, was put into them by us, their mothers.
What gets me is we're having a discussion now about reparations, about systemic racism, when the biggest inequality is the one you and I are talking about, which is a large number of black kids who enter the world without a father in the home married to the mother. Why aren't more people talking about that?
Well, I think that the pain has been very great for us. And remember, our men did not get in that condition by themselves. Now, they have lived in a society that has discriminated against them and has practiced racism. That's all of us as black people. Now, he would have been able to survive discrimination. That's a noun. That's just a thing. Because we went on and built our own communities, our schools, our railroads, our colleges, and everything. And Black Wall Street was one of the big examples that we had. And we were still able to continue on. But when racism got in it, that's a verb. That's an action. That's hanging, lynching, murdering. That's all of those kind of things. Beating. And so what it did is that it destroyed a lot of what we call the backbone in our men. And then they grew up and had children. And then those children went to the public school system, which we all pay for. And during that process, the boys learned plumbing, air conditioning, automotive repair, refrigeration, carpentry, and all kinds of hands-on skills that we were accustomed to doing anyway. And during that time, our men got out of school, our young boys, and they had a foundation, Larry. They knew something. They knew something about something. They could do something. Us women, we had home economics, which taught us how to prepare a meal, how to set a table, how to sew. You can't find a young girl to know how to thread a needle or hem a pair of pants. It just don't exist. All right, they don't teach that anymore. And so consequently, what has happened is that now they're getting a skillless education. They come out of school, we've paid for it, but they don't know how to do anything, and they don't want to do anything. And so we have the last two, at least generations, of young people who don't have any goals. Everybody can't play for the NFL and be around.
Right. Now Sherazad, as far as racism and all the things you said they're all, of course, true. I did a documentary, don't know whether or not you saw it, called Uncle Tom Won. I talked about how after slavery, when racism was far, far more severe than today, when you had the Klan, when you had lynchings, when you had Jim Crow, black people still kept moving forward. In 1940, 87% of black people lived under the poverty line. 20 years later, 1960, that number had fallen to 47%.
Okay,
that's the greatest. Let me finish.
Go ahead, finish.
That's the greatest 20-year period of expansion in the history of black America. Why? Because it was rare for a kid to enter the world without a father in the home married to the mother, an embrace of entrepreneurship, a belief in Judeo-Christian values, and a belief in patriotism, even if America wasn't living up to its ideals. You fast forward, and now you have an organization like Black Lives Matter. On their website, they attack the nuclear family. They are trained Marxists who founded it. Marx was an atheist who didn't believe in God, didn't believe in private property, didn't believe in entrepreneurship, and certainly they don't believe in patriotism. So I would argue, Sherazad, that the real problem has been more policy, minimum wage, welfare state, as opposed to the kinds of racism that you mentioned. And as far as Black Wall Street is concerned, understand it was torched in 1921. It was completely rebuilt within 5 years without one dime of government money. It wasn't called Black Wall Street until after it got rebuilt.
Well, this is the situation. Now, I'm not going to be able to accept any white propaganda that will exclude them and give them a way out of what has happened to us. We don't live in a meritocracy, and I know that you think that we do. And if you want to find that out, you ask any one of these black students that have come out of these HCBUs, what is it? Historically black colleges and universities. Ask them, is America a meritocracy? They keep raising the bar. You need a high school diploma. You need an associate. Oh, you need a master's. Oh, you need a doctorate. You need an LLD. You need a PhD. And so we haven't been able to keep up with that. And with this latest thing on COVID now, remember, the COVID disease has proven that America can function on 50% of the employment that we used to have. And a lot of those businesses will never bring those people back. And so the job thing is not going up. It's going down more. And all of that means that we're going to still be back in the back of the line because white people are going to take care of their own people and children and their own nepotism before they take care of ours.
Sherazad, may I respond? It is actually easier today for a black kid to get into the college or university of his or her choice with the same grades and SAT scores compared to a white person because of race-based preferences. And in 1870, the first public high school in Washington, D.C. was established. It was called Dunbar. And the kids were sending more people to medical school, more people to law school than the white high schools in the same area during Jim Crow America. You've gotten it wrong about that part.
No.
It's what's happened to our values, what's happened to the family structure. That's been policy. That's been things like minimum wage. That's been things like race-based preferences that have caused a higher rate of dropouts. And that's been the welfare state that I said earlier has caused women to marry the government and men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility. And those are recent phenomena. One more thing. I said when I was on Fox and Friends a few years ago, Sherazad, that the welfare state has done more damage to the nuclear intact family than even during slavery. During slavery, a black kid was more likely to be born under a roof with his biological mother and biological father, even though marriage was illegal. I get home, and one of these left-wing websites said this: Elder says blacks better off during slavery. You can't win. You can't win.
You telling me? But listen, here's the thing. The one thing you left out of that equation was social integration. Integration destroyed much of the foundations that we had. It destroyed a lot of the neighborhoods that we had because we decided. Now I remember what the show was about. Black men who date white women. It was 20 years ago, Larry. You and I did that show. But anyway, what social integration did was made us want to abandon what we had previously been forced to stand by ourselves because of separation of races. And it made us want to give white people our money and our businesses and attention. And so we let every dream we had go. We haven't had a great black leader since integration started.
Sherazad, on that note, we're going to have to agree. There's a documentary called Baseball by Ken Burns. And he talked about how the Negro Leagues were thriving. These were black owners, black stadiums. Some of the teams, the Kansas City Monarchs, outdrew the Kansas City Athletics, which was the Major League Baseball team. And they began poaching all the players. What they should have done, what somebody should have done, was to integrate these teams, merge these teams with the NFL all together, as opposed to allowing them to poach the players. And all of a sudden, black people didn't want to watch black people play against each other because they wanted to watch them play in the major leagues.
That's right.
You're right about that. And Dunbar, as I said, was a completely segregated school, all black, and they did just fine. It was when we went away from the admissions test and began lowering standards that ruined that. Yeah. So you and I will agree about that. We're going to have to disagree about the other stuff, though. But Sherazad, I admire you. You are one sharp, insightful lady, and I have a lot of respect for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. God bless.
Yes, sir.
Now, I know you love the show, so please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then scroll down and get on our mailing list. Why? Well, because from time to time, YouTube has an issue with our videos. To make sure you do not miss a video, you got to get on our mailing list. Also, you see that nice little round donate button, hit that, throw a little something in the tip jar. That way we can make sure that you continue to get hard-hitting, candid, honest, brutally honest programming. Remember Larry with Epoch, E-P-O-C-H, LarryWithEpoch.com. I'm Larry Elder. This has been the Larry Elder Show for Epic Times. I'll see you next time. Remember, we've got a country to save.